Dear students, welcome to the second part of the discussion of the poem Looking for a Cousin on a Swing, written by A.K. Ramanujan. In this session, we will look into its form and theme. The poem first appeared in the collection The Striders, published in 1966. Now, let's look into its form. It's a modern poem, not having the structure of a traditional poem. It's written in free verse. That means the poem does not have a meter or a rhyme. And the stanzas are of varying lengths. And it is a lyric because it expresses emotional feelings of the speaker. The poem develops through contradictions like past and present, village and city, innocence and experience. The first part of the poem is written in past tense and the second part is written in present tense. The first part deals with village and the second part deals with city. The first part is about the innocence of childhood and the second part is about experience and maturity. The poet uses different devices which contribute to its theme. Say, for example, enchantment. What is enchantment? A line of poem runs to the second line without having a punctuation at the end. Almost all lines fall into this category, implying the movement of the swing as well as the movement of the poet's mind to the past. Another beautiful feature of Ramanujan's writing is his deft use of imagery in his poetry. See, for example, the image of swing and the image of tree in the poem, Looking for a Cousin on a Swing. This will be discussed in detail in the next slide. Repetition is another device used in this poem. For example, the word lunch is repeated in the poem. It implies not just the movement of the swing, but that of our sexual feelings too. Allusion is another device employed in this poem. Fig tree alludes to Bible, to Adam and Eve, to Garden of Eden, to innocence. We discussed this in the first video. If you missed it, go back to the first video and watch again. Look at the imagery in this poem. The poem is highly suggestive because of its images. Swing is the central image in this poem. It implies the poet's movement between past and present. The first part is written in past tense because it is a past event, and the second part is in the present tense, denoting a present time. It is like Frost's birch image in the poem Birds, which you studied in your first year. Birch is a type of tree, thin and flexible, on which village boys used to climb up. When they reached high, the tree bends down, carrying the boys to the earth. Frost uses this image to imply a temporary escape from the tribulations of life. Like Frost's birch, Ramanujan's swing takes the speaker to the past and to the present. Swing also evokes a lot more feelings like innocence, childhood, and its associated freedom, happiness, carefree life, ancestral home, relations, village life, and so on and so forth. Tree is another imagery used in this poem. Tree in the first part is not tall but having full of leaves, which represents the innocence and immaturity of life. And tree in the second part is about to blossom into fruits, which emphasizes the maturity or experience of life. This image is something like Blake's image of lamb and tiger, where lamb symbolizes innocence and tiger symbolizes experience. Now let's move to its themes. First one, memory, past and nostalgia. Ramanujan is a poet of memory. The image of swing aptly conveys all these feelings of memory, past, nostalgia. The poem preserves the poet's childhood memory of a cousin who was his playmate when they were children. They would sit together on a swing and move rapidly, experiencing the innocent physical touch. She, or the poet, longs for the swing in the city and the innocent paradisal joys it stands for. Hence, the poem becomes a nostalgic longing for the past. Second theme is search for identity or self. As a diasporic writer, Ramanujan describes his position as the hyphen in Indo-American, reflecting a hybrid identity in his life. He experienced a cultural duality and identity crisis. He felt a sophisticated American life mechanical and artificial. So he always looked back to India, the place of his origin. So, swing in this poem is not just simply a journey to the past, but to his own root. But we can't find a tragic note as his exile is not a forced one. Third theme is family. Family is a central idea in Ramanujan's writing. Cousin and swing stand for his family and ancestral home. So the poem is a nostalgic longing for his family and home. Next theme is innocence and experience. The poem is about the loss of childhood innocence and the attainment of maturity or sexual awareness. The tree image and allusion to fig tree beautifully convey this idea. Look at these lines from the first part. We climbed a tree, she said, not very tall but full of leaves, like those of a fig tree. The tree is very small but having full of leaves, implying the immaturity of their life, not only on the crotch of a tree that looked as if it would burst under every leaf into a brood of scarlet figs. These are lines from the second part. And look at the tree now. The tree is about to blossom into fig fruits, implying the maturity and experience of their life. It also conveys the sexual urge of the girl. The allusion to the fig tree also emphasizes the innocence and the loss of it. It connects to the story of Adam and Eve and their innocence and their loss of innocence. Next theme is village and city. The poem associates innocence and beauty to the village life and hypocrisy and artificiality to the city life. The first part happens in a village and the second part in a city. Look at this line, and we were very innocent about it. This is from the first part, correlating this to the childhood and the village life. And take the next line, and tries to be innocent about it. This is from the second part, correlating this to the city life, reflecting hypocrisy and artificiality. Sigmund Freud's idea of infantile sexuality is echoed in this poem. Freud, in his essay Infantile Sexuality, argues that children have sexual urges from which adult sexuality only gradually emerges via psychosexual development. These are the 5 stages of psychosexual development mentioned by Freud. First one, oral, that is from birth to 1 year. And second one, anal, that is from 1 to 3. And third one, phallic, that is 3 to 6. And latent, that is 6 to 12. And genital, that is 12 plus. The part associated with each stage serves as a source of pleasure. For example, Freud felt that the sucking activity observed in infants should be considered the prototype of all sexual gratification. I hope you understood the poem. These are some of the observations on the poem. If you have any doubt or comment to make, do contact me. Thank you.